our guests here. I'm going to bring in Ben Palmer and Zach Hayes. Welcome, guys. How you doing? Oh, what's going on here?
I'm good. My volume was off. I forgot I muted myself.
I was also muted.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Starting off strong, we both show up muted.
It's all right. A lot of people have done that already. If you guys don't know, Ben Palmer is a manager here at PitchCon. You actually you run the editors, the whole editing crew.
I do indeed. Does that make me editor in chief? That's what I like to call myself. That.
Oh well, you can call yourself that, but no. but but no, you've been here since 2016, which is crazy. Helped out with Batter's Box back in the day. Have done a ton of articles hitting streamers every single week, so it's awesome having you here. Oh, and hey, Orioles fan too. So you're
that's right.
There you go.
The Maryland jersey.
Zach Hayes joined us over the summer last year. You might know him from his fantastic Kurt Schilling Does Not Belong in Cooperstown article. Really, really smart guy. We're excited to have him for a full year this year. And Ben and Zach now have a new podcast called Shagging Flies. We're just hanging out and just talking about some baseball stuff, talking about life. And I was able to do a demo with you guys. It went on for like an hour. I hope I can come back and actually do a proper one. They'll probably be like 3 hours.
I hope so. You're welcome to do it.
I certainly will. Man. Give me sometime in March I'll jump in and do that because that was a blast.
Yeah.
But without any more stalling, here's Jake Ciely. Look at that room, my
Jake.
God.
What's up?
You got the full wide now. Like I remember it used to be kind of like. To your left was not in the shot anymore, like the Michael Thomas stuff. I only used to see that. Now you got the whole width.
I forgot to replace Michael Thomas.
Who are you replacing him with?
Hold on. Live on the show.
Pause for a few moments while Jake redoes his room.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. We got Gary Carter. Look at that.
There you go.
That's good.
Fall. There you go. R2-D2 is now Gary Carter. There you go.
It's there. It in spirit.
Yes, that answers
we all very much appreciate
There you go.
But obviously, Jake Ciely, part of The Athletic, of course. And it's good to see you, man.
It is. Oh, look, Barkley.
Maybe we'll get to see him in person again this year. We'll see.
There's Barkley, too. Everything going on.
All right, I'm going to let you guys go off and do it, but thanks again for being here for PitchCon.
Well, Jake, thank you so much. I'm going to start this off with two confessions. Okay. One, when I had kind of conceived the idea of this podcast, you were one of the first people I was like, I got to have Jake on this podcast.
So you wanted to fail from day one?
Yeah, exactly. I really wanted to start with a low. No, day two. Yeah. We started with Alex so we could really fail on day one. No, but and this is the part where I'm going to butter your toast a little bit because also I will confess to you, I don't read a whole lot of fantasy sports articles. I try to, but when you write so many of them, it's hard to also read a lot of them. I will tell you, of the few fantasy analysts I try to consistently read, you are among them. So Jake, it is wonderful to have you here on what is the second episode of Shagging Flies and is now a live episode too, which is great. So I want to
for Zach high praise and the second this is the second show we've done together because we did this last year. So
yeah. Well, so part of the reason after that panel, and actually you've kind of already gotten a taste of what this show's like because that panel we did last year was almost like what I wanted this to be. Except now this show is all about you, Jake. It's just you, buddy.
I didn't know if we were going to play Where's Waldo of my Funkos.
We will talk about your Funkos. We're going to talk a little bit about DuckTales because I can't tell you how excited I am to talk about DuckTales with you. And not because I'm not like this huge DuckTales fan. I love that you're a huge DuckTales fan. It's so exciting. So anyways, Zach and I have been doing a little bit of Jake Ciely research on the Google. Uh-oh. And one of the things that I have not really been able to find, and maybe I just didn't Google hard enough, was where are you from? Where are you from originally? How long have you been doing the writing thing? How'd you get into it? I want to know. I don't know anything about like you personally. It's all fantasy stuff and all your TV appearances.
So I was miraculously conceived by a dolphin. Yeah, straight out of the ocean. Wow. Yeah, never had sex before.
Bravo.
My family is originally from New Jersey, so that's where you get the Mets and the Giants.
Okay.
and the Rangers. I didn't watch basketball until I moved down here in Virginia Beach, with my cousin. So my cousin is actually who to blame for the fact that I'm a Bulls, UNC Tar Heels shirt, and Notre Dame football fan. That's how 8 years old. I've been that fan. I know they kind of don't really overlap, especially with the North, especially having two different college teams. But again, blame him. He's the one who got me into them. So yeah. And then where I got to where I am today was a long process. Out of college, it was Geico. Good times. And during Geico, during Lilly and Vernon, if anybody out there knows what it is, it's a personalization company. Before Amazon started doing it, they've pretty much lost their way at this point because everybody does it now. But during Geico, during Lilly and Vernon, I opened my own deli and went bankrupt. Didn't work out. Sorry, everybody. That's
well,
what happens.
hold on. All right, hold on. I need to pause you there because there is that going from Geico to opening your own deli is quite the pivot. And I I want to know what was that like? What made you decide? You know what? I'm going to open a deli. Do you have just like a real affinity for cold meats or like?
Like I bathe in cold cuts. Salami is everywhere. You should see
did you
bed,
make the
his
sandwiches?
blanket, his ham. Yeah.
Yes, I did. So
What was your favorite sandwich to make?
So Nick Radicanu actually knows what the sandwich is. If anybody knows who he is, he was in the Fantasy Escape, but he's not anymore. It was the pub sandwich. It was buffalo chicken, Havarti, and then red onion, lettuce, obviously romaine, not iceberg. You do real lettuce, tomato, and a pub sauce, which is like a creamy horseradish on toasted jalapeno cornbread, which was the most amazing. See, I saw your face as soon as I said it.
Yeah. That sounds also. Can I just say the fact that you said romaine instead of iceberg? I have had a long-standing debate with my wife when I go to the grocery store to buy lettuce. She's like, "Yeah, just buy some iceberg," and I'm like, "No, I want romaine." It's like, they're the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. I'm so glad.
Wait, hold on. This is how specific I got with the romaine too. Is that first of all, it had to be crisp romaine. You can't have that floppy crap.
Yes,
but also. I always cut out the spine so people didn't bite down just into that pure spine of grossness.
So
you got the full romaine without having to get that just giant nasty piece that's like, I just bit into a plant.
So what I do to get around that is just eat baby spinach. You just eat baby spinach. You don't get the crunchy part.
We're like, I'm sorry. I class it up next time. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Anyways, yes. So the deli, why? Because we're from
what
up north. Inspired you?
Yes, I'm pointing up. We're from up there. we're from New Jersey, New York, and there's not much of that down here. This is before even Jersey Mike's had really gotten to the area, and even Jersey Mike's is it's quick version of it, but there's not a deli down there. There's not homemade desserts, breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg, and cheese, Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, if anybody really knows, like that type of stuff. The sandwiches I'm talking about, 5 ounces, big, thick, that most people can't finish, that type of stuff. And so it's something I grew up, my dad worked for Boar's Head for a really long time. So I kind of grew up around it. And
so deli meat's in your blood is what you're telling me.
Well, kind of. And it was something I always kind of thought I wanted to do. Yeah. And I did it with my dad. And then he couldn't not be paid any longer, so he had to get a job. If that makes sense.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I went from being the businessman to everything man, working 7 days a week, open to close, and losing money. And then by that 2.5 year, when you walk into your own company and know you're losing money as soon as you walk in, it's just such a drain on your life. It was a bad location too. We thought it might work. We tried to get through it. It was also a bigger space than we should have had. Even when we were packed, it kind of looked half empty. So just a lot of things went wrong, but blessing and a curse, because if it was still successful, I might have opened a second one and then had to close both during COVID. So, plus now I'm doing my dream job. That's the whole point. This entire time, 40 hours a week while I'm at Geico doing fantasy sports, 40 hours a week while I'm at Lilly and Vernon doing fantasy sports, 40 hours a week while I'm doing a deli, 80 hours a week, fantasy sports. This is why I'm still single, because I had no life for 7-8 years until I was able to do it full time as my only job for the Athletics. So there you go.
Man, that's wait, so you didn't go straight from like the deli to the Athletic. Like you were writing for some other sites, right? Like what was your first site you wrote for?
So the first I was Blogspot. It was my own blog.
Oh, nice. All right.
So it actually started on a New York Giants forum, and somebody was like, "Why do you keep handing out this fantasy advice, and why aren't you doing it?" So I said, whoever that guy was, he's the one that deserves, for everybody that hates me out there, he's the one that got me started on this career. So I started a blog, 2 years of doing my own blog spot, pretty much the same style I'm doing today. And I sent it out to anybody and everybody, the wrong people. Like I was sending it to Max Kellerman and Tony Kornheiser, who called me, by the way, just to yell at me.
Wait. Tony Kornheiser
yeah,
called
you
got
to stop there. You're going to have to run that one back.
Yeah, so I sent it to Jim Rome. Mike Greenberg called. Of all the people that I sent it to, Mike Greenberg and Tony Kornheiser were the two people that called me. Mike Greenberg called and was super helpful, super nice. And this is a long time ago now. Tony Kornheiser, I'm at work, answer the phone. He's like, "Hey, is this Jake Ciely?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is Tony Kornheiser." So immediately I feel the blood rush to my face.
Right,
like I'm at work and caught off guard. I'm like, oh my God, Tony Kornheiser's on the phone. I'm already stammering. Like, I know, I'm like, okay. Like, he goes, "I got your stuff. What did you want to know?" And I'm just like,
yeah. Hey, real quick on the spot,
right,
I got a couple minutes.
Telling the story again.
I got a couple minutes. Oh my God.
So,
yeah.
I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it. So I was like, what I said in the packet, I just wanted your advice. Like, my goal is to be you one day, or, just this is whatever. So what advice do you have for somebody that's trying to start out? And he goes, "What do you mean? What do you want to do what I do?" And it's like, he's very, very confrontational. So I'm just getting more and more nervous. I'm pretty sure sweating through my shirt at this point. I was also trying to find a room to go talk by myself at the same time.
Right,
so
right.
Full panic mode. Because I'm not going to be like, "Hey, Tony, can I call you back?"
Yeah. Tony, can you hold? Excuse me.
So
unexpected guest spot on Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know if I was being pranked at first. I had no idea. I was like, well, and so now I'm doing that. And I was like, I want to eventually work full time covering NFL baseball. This is what I've always wanted to do. I want to be on radio. I want to be on video, not necessarily on TV. I'm not just trying to go for the glory. And I even told him that. He goes, "Then just do it." I'm like, "Is this Nike? Like, what? Like, it's like, just do it." I was like, "Well, like, what do you mean? Like, how did you start?" And he goes, "I started writing. I started sending my stuff to the Washington Post. Get on radio, go get on radio, go talk on radio, go get on video, go talk on video." I was like, "Well, yeah, it's that simple. Let me just go walk out the door." Thanks, Tony, for your advice.
Yeah.
So
hit up the Washington Post, be like, "Ooh."
Hey guys,
you need any new writers?
Yeah. It's like, "So just go do it, and just if you want to go do it, go do it." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "All right," and hung up. It's like, thank you.
That's so funny though, because like that is it is an aggressively given piece of advice that I think is actually sort of like there's a nugget of good advice in there. That like this nugget surrounded by this hard exterior of like, if you want to be a writer, the first thing you need to do is just go write. Like, it doesn't matter who you're writing for, just write it and put it out there, and eventually the audience will come if you are passionate about it. People like to hear other people talk about things they're passionate about. And I mean, I think there's a lot of examples in fantasy sports of this. I mean, fantasy sports advice is like the most saturated market on the planet, but there are still plenty of blogs and sites that still pop up and get popular because people are searching for it, and people who do good analysis and are passionate about it. So I think that is like a good piece of advice, but like, it is very aggressively
wrapped in. I want to yell at you. One of my buddies said he probably wanted you to push back because like of his personality in a show and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, but again, caught off guard,
right?
Not knowing what, and then what I was just gonna be like, well, screw you, Tony. Like,
yeah. Tony Kornheiser calls you
to call me, like.
And you're going to be angry about it? Yeah. No,
Meanwhile, Mike Greenberg, thank you to you. We talked for like 15 minutes, and he was super, super nice and super kind and said a lot of the similar stuff more of like what we would give for advice out there of just doing it. So, and that's why I started doing the blog. That was around the same time. Or actually, I was already doing the blog, but that's when I sent it to everybody else. And then Casey Joyner and Tristan Cockcroft, because I had actually become friends with Tristan Cockcroft because every single day I was in his chat on ESPN every single day. I'm not kidding. So he actually he recognized me at that point. The love of chicken parm, the love of Jack Bauer at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So those were the two that put me in touch with Scott Angle. And that's how I got started working for Scott Angle for a while. And then with Nando DeFino, and then The Athletic contacted me. Actually, Eno was the one who first contacted me from The Athletic. And then they said, hold on, we're going to do fantasy. We're going to do fantasy full. We're not going to just kind of do a part-time. So then the next year is when they came, and Nando and I, and that's how full-time over there since 2018, August of 2018.
That's awesome. That is, it's funny when you bring up love of chicken parm and Jack Bauer for Tristan. You just brought me like some serious flashbacks to when I was like an avid fantasy focused baseball listener. like when I was in
24.
College. I mean, I love 24. Oh my God. I can't. So my family's love of 24 was really weird. It was my whole family every Monday night at 9 p.m. We would all get together in our living room and turn off every light in the house, which I'm not sure why we did that. But we just wanted the whole house to be dark, and we were like super quiet. And if anybody called our house phone during 24, my parents yelled at them and said, "Don't you know 24 is on?" Because we didn't have a DVR or anything. We didn't have a TiVo. And they're like, "Don't you know 24 is on? I'm hanging up. Call me back later." Like my family, we powered through. We started. Yeah. Don't you know? Yeah. We started in season 4. That's when we first watched it. So my parents immediately bought seasons 1 through 3 on DVD, and we powered through it in the 6
around
months.
Season 4 is when you used to be able to finally have like custom ringtones, and I definitely had the do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
Dude, I loved and still love 24, even though they like Fox has tried to bring it back from the dead too many times, and it's like it became this weird zombie that I no longer recognized, save for Jack Bauer just, punching people with his bullet fists. Yes, I did. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
did
yeah.
You guys watch,
okay.
Did y'all watch Designated Survivor though? Which is like
I didn't.
Jack Bauer was like, had pursued like the public policy life instead of
if Jack Bauer was
If Jack Bauer had all his 24 powers stricken.
Yeah, he had to actually follow rules instead of punching people with bullet fists and shouting, "Damn it!"
Damn it, Chloe.
That was the brand.
Also, what a weird role for Marilyn Rajskub, because I knew her as a stand-up.
I'm glad you said the last name.
Yeah, I think that's how it is. She's not watching. She doesn't care. But I just knew her as this stand-up, and then like suddenly she's in 24 doing a very like getting tortured or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, every time she gets captured and tortured.
No, that was his damn daughter getting caught by freaking mountain lions twice. How do you get caught by a mountain lion twice?
It's crazy to get caught by a mountain lion once. Like that's an event. Oh my God. Well, anyways, that's I could talk about 24 forever. We should. Let's say we've only got until 9, and we've got a lot. So yeah, we should probably keep moving forward.
Right. So I'm going to pivot a little bit. I want to talk about food because we've got a lot of food stuff on the docket here. You have some food takes, quite a few of them on the record, and the one that I want to specifically ask you about, because this is something that we've asked both of our previous guests, and I think we intend to continue asking it. We ask milk before cereal or cereal before milk. And you are on record as being a milk before cereal person, which is possibly the first time in recorded history that at least this has been brought to my attention. So I know you wrote about it, justifying yourself. So let's hear it.
The chats explode,
blowing up.
I will tell you, I wrote this question in our notes, and I was like, "You are a milk before cereal guy. What's it like being a sociopath?" I will say, please explain it, but I will say that I read your rankings and I do kind of get your reasoning. So I will say it is defensible.
I would push back on it a little bit, but we need to hear it first.
You know what? When the first person said that the earth was round, people thought he was crazy too. Sometimes The geniuses are thought to be the weirdest. Here's the fact. You start with milk because you can control the cereal sogginess. That's all it comes down to, because the perfect example is Fruity Pebbles. The only way you can eat Fruity Pebbles is if you do milk first, because as soon as it hits the milk, it's already evaporating. Everybody, Fruity Pebbles is like, you have to eat that thing like the fastest. Like, anyway, so it's milk first because you put it in and then you control it. All the cereal is on top. It slowly goes down, which makes it get soggy slower. And then here's my biggest counter to anybody who says they don't do it. When you go for your second round of cereal, do you pour the milk back out? No, the milk stays in the bowl and you pour the cereal back into the milk. You're already doing it. You're just not doing it to start. So very simple fact is it just helps you control the ratio and control the sogginess. And that's the best reason for it.
Okay, we're gonna cut the part of that makes sense.
Thank you.
And
we'll just cut all of this, actually.
The part where you're like, "Oh wow, no, I actually,
hold on.
I
For
get
all
it."
the people, hold on. For all the people out there, they're like, ratio and pour the milk more than once. You're wasting damn time. Just pour the milk once. Pour it in.
If you have time to eat 2 bowls of cereal, like you're not in a rush. Though,
no,
to be fair.
but look, hey, I'll tell you what I do. I set my bowl of cereal down and I sit here and I watch YouTube crap. So I'm not trying to get up and get this milk again a second time. I got my bowl, my cereal, pour it in again. I actually go usually about 3 bowls of cereal, but it's 3 bowls of cereal because it's less cereal, so that it won't get soggy. Every bite is crunchy and quality. Why am I doing the presidential?
That's a that's a trade-off. You know what you lose out on then, though? You lose out on the sweet, sugary milk at the bottom of the bowl when you're done. That you then get to. If it's not if it's not all immersed in there, I can't believe this.
Next time I do a bowl, I'll show you the picture at the end. Actually, in my cereal, my top, it's now about 60 cereals. It started with about 50. Now it's about to 60. In my top 60 cereals, one of the scoring categories was milk factor and how enjoyable the milk was at the end.
I say this like it sounds crazy, but I'll be honest. I think your defense is defensible, and I have no room to judge because I have probably a more sociopathic cereal habit. I'm not a huge cereal guy in general.
You take a bite and then pour the milk in your mouth.
No. I do no milk. I'm a dry cereal guy.
Really?
And yes. And then my wife thinks this is weird, and everybody I've told that I do it thinks it's weird too. But I will pour dry cereal in a bowl and then just eat it with a spoon out of the bowl.
You know what actually is a really good snack cereal is Crave with chocolate in the middle. Just dry. It's really good. I will one up you on the weirdness, not me. And my niece isn't old enough to even know this is going on. So when she gets to the age of knowing I told everybody about this, my niece eats ramen with the packets dry.
Oh my God. I knew somebody who did that. It's the grossest thing. Oh my, the block, pulls
they break up the block and she pours
I have a friend who honestly he may be watching right now. For all I know, he did used to eat the vegetables in the ramen packets dry though.
Oh, that's the other one though. That's not the ramen. That's the cup of noodles.
Yeah.
Okay, I always thought are they not interchangeable though? I always thought that those were kind of the same thing.
Or wait, is it? I'm just uncultured. Is it the Marichu, or whatever the one that starts with the M? That's the one that has no. It's just the block. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the ramen that has the vegetables.
Yeah, okay. But no, I knew somebody
but some of them, the ones that come in packets, have vegetables sometimes too, though.
Not the packet.
I'll leave this one.
Who knows? I will tell you, I knew somebody who did that. And I thought it was I saw him walking. We were backstage at a show, and he was walking around the green room chomping on it. And I stopped, and I was just like, oh my God. What are you doing? He's like, yeah, dry ramen. It's great. He just left. And I'm like,
I need to get my sodium intake.
There are other things you can do.
Did you catch the thing? It was on TikTok, maybe towards the beginning of pandemic. It started out on TikTok where people were making videos of using dry ramen to fill in cracks in concrete and scratch cars and stuff. You mix it with I don't even know how to describe these things.
That's actually what I was about to say is for the cereal thing. Can we all just agree that grape nuts is just road gravel? Can we just agree on that one?
You know what? So speaking of, I've never had it. Speaking of specific cereals,
You've seen the really tiny rocks that some people have in their driveway.
Yes,
Just go pick up a handful of that and take a bite, and there you go.
I will. So speaking of specific cereals, obviously, your rankings are out there, and I want to ask 2 questions. One, is the number 1 cereal on your rankings also your personal favorite, or was there like an attempt to like, this is like objectively the best? Like, do you have a favorite that might not be the one that's number 1 on your rankings, or that is your favorite?
No, screw everybody reading it. I don't care what you think. I mean, if I
I
cared
got
what
you,
everybody think, it would be like the milk part. Like, screw you. If you don't like my rankings, I got a lot of people in the comments that are like, "Oh, Sugar Rush. Do you know anything normal?" Like, it's cereal. Like, who's going to the store for cereal and be like, "Let me get something super nutritional"? Then what the you eating cereal for? Like, that's not the point.
If you had had this conversation with my parents when I was like 8, I would have loved you forever, but that was me and my family. What can I say?
No, number 1
gorilla munch for days.
There's actually a tie for number 1. The tie for number 1, the second one doesn't exist anymore, and I'm super depressed about it. But the number 1 is Churros Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because Cinnamon Toast Crunch actually gets pretty soggy if you've had it recently.
Yeah.
The Churros solves that because it's the churro shape. Like, it solves the only problem with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The other one is, it's not out there. It was Frosted Mini Donuts Captain Crunch. It was the most amazing cereal ever, and it's not there anymore. You could probably buy it off Amazon for like $50 or something like that.
Probably. Yeah. Well, so then, all right. So what would you say is the most overrated cereal? Like one everyone's like, it's great, but you're like,
I think, I should have pulled up the article to see if I'm trying to remember what a lot of the comments were like. Oh, this is great, or this is great. You know what? I got a lot of Chex. A lot of people were saying like Chex, like cinnamon Chex are great, and this Chex are great. And I'm like, they're okay, but Chex to me are like Cheerios and Crispix and all those other ones. Like they're all different variations of the same thing. Like, it's the same flavor, same ingredients. It's just one's a Chex, one's a Cheerio, one's a this, one's like, they're all just kind of variations of the same thing.
You got to learn your grains.
Sprinkled donut crunch. I just good timing. I just pulled up the chat finally. I didn't even know this was going on over here. There you go.
Yeah.
Sprinkled donut crunch. It's the best thing ever.
I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of churro. Do they have all these? Are these all like cinnamon toast crunch variants?
The churro cinnamon toast crunch, I remember.
Yes.
Sprinkled donut crunch, I don't know.
I will let you know that the churro chocolate is not good. I mean, it's okay, but it's a big disappointment. The chocolate's a very faint taste, and it takes away from the cinnamon part. So don't even waste time.
Dude, I have this very clear memory when I was very young of seeing commercials for Cookie Crisp and desperately wanting it because I was like, this is gonna taste like cookies, and I'm gonna pull one over my parents and be like, it's cereal, but it's cookies. Finally, I mean, it was probably like, I think my parents wouldn't do it because they were like, we draw the line at literal cookies. Like, that's we're not. We'll give you maybe some sugary stuff, but cookies is where like I can't do that.
Do you want to know one of the worst? Sorry, I thought.
Oh no, I was just saying I finally got it and was so disappointed. It basically tasted like Cocoa Puffs.
It did. Yeah. One of the worst cereals ever, and this is going to be super. I don't know anybody else that might have. I had one comment out of all the comments. Person who's tried it. There was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal, and I was super amped to get it because at the time I was super into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was the most god awful. Like it tasted like fake sugar with stale marshmallows that also were the ones that like dissolve super fast, so they weren't even good marshmallow. Like, it was the most disgusting. I didn't even finish the first bowl. It was as bad if anybody had it. I think it was probably the same people that made it. If anybody off the Super Mario Brothers cereal, same thing.
Oh, the Super Mario. Yeah, I remember that one. My kids liked that one. I did not. I thought it was. I know. Well, they're children. They have no taste.
Oh, that's another one. Reese's Puff. I got a lot of people saying Reese's Puff cereal. And
so the way they really were
peanut butter crunch. But see, I don't like peanut butter cereal because peanut butter is heavy to me. I love peanut butter, but for breakfast, I don't want peanut butter for breakfast.
Yeah, I get that.
Fair enough.
All right, I wanna because we have so much more we do.
I know
we're already halfway done. Believe it or not,
this is the cereal, ramen, and
is the cereal podcast. All right, I gotta get. We're at the halfway point. I gotta get to DuckTales. And I am very excited to talk to you about DuckTales because you might be the biggest DuckTales fan.
Want to know what happens when you call my phone?
I can only imagine. Yep.
That is my ringtone.
It's perfect. It's
what an intro. Has that
Nick,
ever
that's
gone
good.
off
Yeah.
at an inconvenient time for you?
What was that?
You've never gone off at like an inconvenient time? You're like,
Oh no, I have it on vibrate a lot. Like I only have it when I just.
I was
and,
gonna say the thing. Like
my text
maybe related. I don't know.
my text tone is
text
actually
tone DuckTales?
no, it's actually Mario Kart when they go through the little block,
Oh, okay.
the item block.
It's funny. I always, whenever I hear ringtones like that, I always think of this Patton Oswalt bit where he talks about a plumber he had come over who had a duck quack as his phone call, and Patton was like, "You know, you're going to get bad news at some point. Like at some point, you're going to be like, whack, whack, whack." You answer the phone, "Hello? Oh my, it's spread to her lungs." Like,
I didn't even think about
okay,
that.
I heard my pocket was quacking. Yeah, so
I mean, like life is like a hurricane. Your mom.
Yeah, and you go, right? Yeah, you're gonna be like, "Oh, woo!"
Yikes.
No, but okay. So DuckTales. So Zach, this is funny because Zach has no clue about DuckTales.
Like-
So I'll let him ask.
So Ben, I can't understate how excited Ben was to talk about this. Like, at least
I just
three or four.
love how passionate you are about it because
A few
I
different
like it.
conversations,
But yeah, it's great.
I respect, but so speaking as a child of like the early to mid 2000s here, like I grew up on SpongeBob and Ed and any of those things. DuckTales is like totally out of my purview here.
90s,
Like I know of Scrooge McDuck pretty much, and they make memes sometimes. So like explain to me like what is the deal? What is so great with DuckTales? What is behind this passion? Because there's something there. There's clearly something there.
It starts with it's just the best theme song for a show of all time.
Yeah.
There is
Agreed
actually
there, yeah.
you can go watch a YouTube video that breaks down why it's the most catchy theme song of all time. And it actually breaks it down and talks about the rise and the fall, like how it works and all that type of stuff. There's actually like musical logic behind it. But no, this is just a 90s kid grew up. I'm looking for a picture at the same time while I'm talking. That's why I'm doing this. 90s kid grew up watching DuckTales, grew up with the Disney afternoon special with DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and Rescue Rangers.
Yep.
So Rescue Rangers, the Rescue Rangers is an underrated, very good theme song as well.
Yeah.
So that's just what it came to, is just growing up with it. And then it's just a great show. It's, adventure every single day with the Scrooge McDuck and Launchpad, who's one of the best characters of all time. And then they brought it back for a reboot. And I was very skeptical about the reboot by looking at the art design, and I watched it, and I can't believe it was actually even better than the original. They did a better version of Launchpad. The kids had different voices this time, so more personality, and it was amazing. And then the video game was terrific. One of the most underrated video games. The Moon theme is actually the intro to my podcast from the video game. So it's just DuckTales for life. I mean, look, you can look right over here. You got, wait, I went the wrong way. I'm an idiot. Scrooge, Darkwing, and Launchpad.
I will say, I used to watch the original a lot when I was
Can
a
you see
kid,
this?
and the beautiful.
There's Darkwing.
I love it.
I'm trying to find the background image because can you kind of see behind the apps? No, you can't. Oh yeah, it's
I can see.
Scrooge.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I love it. So, we randomly turned on the reboot for my kids one day, and I was like, "Oh, cool, DuckTales." I turned it on. It really was good. Like, I was really impressed, and the cast is ridiculous. Like, it's David Tennant, Ben Schwartz, Danny Putty, Bobby Moynihan, Kate Micucci, and Beck Bennett. Like, that's a really solid voice.
No cast right there.
Which one is?
I know.
Which one is Kate?
Kate is Webby.
Okay, she's got that high pitch. She was on Big Bang Theory. The actual, if anybody watched Friends, the girl that Joey was dating that Chandler fell in love with does the voice of the mom.
Oh, huh.
Yeah,
that's fun. Yeah, no, I'm
a Friends fan too. So.
That's great. No, yeah, I just remember looking at that cast and being like, "Wow, these are some like really good comedians doing DuckTales." And yeah, Launchpad. Beck Bennett does Launchpad, and he does such a good job with it.
It's so much. It's actually better than the original. I was looking. I actually have a Danny Putty from Community somewhere back here, but it might be buried somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's, or I guess I should say was, because they canceled it.
Yes, 3 seasons and canceled. And if they don't actually do the Darkwing spinoff, I'm driving to California and I'm doing some stuff.
You write it yourself.
Drive to Temecula, you might say.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite episode from the original and the reboot that you can think of off the top of your head?
So I actually I'll pull it up. I actually did. Let's see. Let's see if the Google machine will do this. Jake Ciely, top 10 DuckTales.
Oh, it'll pop up. I saw it.
Did you? Yeah,
I did. Yeah, you're
Just
right.
the clicks,
Like,
the clicks from Ben alone are putting it right to the top.
So the original, I knew that the original. So there's 2. So the original and the second one's gonna be obvious on the reboot, but the original was Treasure of the Golden Suns, which is actually the launch of it, which is actually the movie that started the show. So it's technically a movie, and it's technically the first 3 episodes, I think, as they broke it apart. Might be 4. So that's that one. And then of the reboot, it was Let's Get Dangerous when they brought back Darkwing and for a crossover. But if you don't want any of the involvement with Darkwing to kind of manipulate, or not manipulate, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of takes over the entire show, is Gloomtales. They did a Gloomtales spinoff, which is really funny. You know, they even redid the intro with Glum Gold, if I could say it. Is terrific.
I love it.
That's great. I love that.
You're down to 2 viewers.
I know everyone's left. The chat right now is actually just a GIF of a rolling tumbleweed.
Here, I'm gonna tweet that we're done talking DuckTales.
You can come back. It's okay.
No more deli talk. No more. So, I guess we could on that note turn to the main theme here. I guess, which is theoretically, supposedly to do with baseball. Real simple. Just why baseball? What is it about baseball that gets you? You know, why do you love it? What makes it different and unique? And why are we here talking about it for you?
Unlike football, I could play it. That was fun.
What was your position?
So it moved throughout the years. I initially started off when I was super young. I started off mostly in the outfield. Moved around the outfield, and then once I got old enough to where it's like, hey, let's find you a position. It was third base, and it was third base until the fact that injury story. I got the yips at playing third base. Not like when I played, I didn't have the yips. Like I wasn't Knobloch, but I didn't want to play third base anymore because this is what happened. So I'm at third base, screaming shot headed right towards me. I do the right thing, put your hand over top of your glove, whatever, and it skipped up into my hand. Picked it up, threw it to first base, not knowing anything's wrong right now. Like, I'm just like, whatever. Next, whatever, this guy's pitching. I'm doing my normal thing where you kick the dirt and walk around, blah, 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 type of thing, whatever. And when I kick the dirt, I look down and there's spots of blood in the dirt. So now I used to get dry nosebleeds during the summer when I was young. So my first instinct was to go like this to see if my nose was bleeding. And I'm looking around and I'm like, what the heck is bleeding? And I'm looking, next pitch, pay attention, go back, and I'm looking, and I see like a couple spots on my pants. And I look down, and right here, split open because the ball hit here and tried to fit between my fingers.
Yikes.
That's when the pain set in because it wasn't. So they're still pitching, and I drop my glove and immediately go like this to hold my fingers together. Because I'm like, I think it was like 12 or 13 at the time.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden my voice goes out. I'm trying to call for time and I can't because I guess the shock or whatever. Yeah. So I'm in the middle of pitches going on, walking towards the ump behind the pitcher's mound with my glove on the ground. And all of a sudden I hear my dad from the stands go, umpire! And he looks and then turns, so I got stitches through here and never wanted to play third base again. So
and that's why you love baseball right there.
Yes.
And that's why Jake loves baseball.
So then I moved to second base. And I'll admit I wasn't great at turning the backside double play. Just never really was. And I ended up moving to first base, finding out I'm an amazing defensive third baseman. We used to joke that I'm like John Olerud, like kind of slap hitter, but just amazing defensively. But when I grew up, baseball-wise, I didn't even want to play baseball growing up. I wanted to be a manager. Like when I grew up, I was the kid that was doing lineups in the middle of class and being like, this is who I would play, and this is where I would put this person. I would make this trade, or I would do this. So like GM/manager. So you can see where the background of fantasy came from. Like ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be on that side of it. I didn't even want to be playing it. The 1 year playing football didn't go well. And same thing with football though, like trades. Like I would get Madden and play the off seasons. I wouldn't even like play the game. I would just do the off seasons. So yeah, that's where that all came from. So that was the love of baseball. Grew up again, 90s. So I caught a little bit of the great Mets, a little bit of Gary Carter's tail end. A friend of the family in Florida, he used to go to their church, and I actually have a signed autograph of him. And it's that, I think it's the 87 cards where it had the wood paneling, but he signed it and he's standing in front of the crowd in the picture. And he signed it, and there's a note with the picture. It's one of those 6x9s or whatever it is. There's a note with the picture saying, sorry, I had nowhere else to sign it. Because he signed it across his crotch, because it was the only where he could. It was the only white part where he could get his signature in, because there was all crowd around him. So I still have that picture upstairs. But Nomar Garciaparra and David Wright were my favorite players. Number 5. That's why I have 5 on a lot of things. Growing up, the third base still and then Garciaparra shortstop. I was never good enough for shortstop. Unfortunately, I was never that talented. The best kid is always shortstop. I was never the best kid. So. Just the love of the game growing up.
Yeah. So specifically, like the game of like, there's a lot of sports out there that you could, and I know you're a big football fan too. But what is it about the game of baseball that draws you? Like why not what is it that baseball does that just you love it?
So I'll kind of pull it into like even the fantasy world of it, and I think it's the fact that if you're the best, more often than not, you should win. Because I want to be the best at everything. And I think people know that, and like, I know I'm not the best, but I still want to be like, this is going to be super weird for your podcast, but like, I won't even be the best lover. She's like, I want to be the best at everything.
Right.
And baseball, and you'll hear this from fantasy players in baseball. It's like, if you're great at it, you're going to win more than you lose. Fantasy football is like, and that's why any given Sunday, even if you're the best team, any given Sunday, you might not win. And it's one and done a lot of times, especially when you get to the playoffs. So the fact that baseball is, if you put forth the effort, if you play, which is just an enjoyable game, I think whether you're watching or there, there's something about being there in the stands and just hanging out and having drinks and eating peanuts. And I love pretzels. I always get a soft pretzel no matter where I go. Just being able to hang out and do that. I think you can take in the game more so than like football. Like football, I always feel like you're missing something if you do anything else. Love both sports, obviously. And these days, to be honest about it, I'm probably more 80% football than 20% baseball, just time wise, because that's where, we know this. That's where the fans are. Yep. Money. Yeah. And but baseball is always, it was like the first love. And just, again, that's why I love playing poker. Because I feel like I know I'm not, I would lose to Phil Ivey. I would lose to, Phil Hellmuth and all the rest of them. But, I think I'm great at it too. If you're great, you should win more than you lose.
I cannot tell you how much I love that you just compared fantasy to poker, because I have said that so many times.
Where do you think all that kid came from?
I'm serious. Oh my God. You know what? I was like, I should ask him where that comes from. And now that makes a lot of sense. But
I didn't even give it to myself. Sorry. Hold on.
No.
Real quick. Then you tell your story.
Go.
Very first time ever playing poker in a tournament. And I'm new to poker. I'm new to playing with other people. So what's the first thing when you play poker, the very first time you're playing, what do you think the best move is? Whether you have a good hand or you're bluffing, you go all in. So we're playing a tournament, and after like the 7th time doing it, Don Ho-Ho's, his nickname, that was his nickname, Don Ho-Ho's, sitting there, and he just goes, damn, all in, kid. And then boom, there, stuck.
That's awesome.
15 years ago.
I love that.
Anyway,
That's
go
awesome.
tell your story.
Yeah, no, well, I was going to just say, I have said to so many people the exact same thing you said about fantasy, where if you are really good at it, more often than not, you will win. There is luck in it, but generally speaking, you'll always see the same people towards the top, because whether they win or not, they may not win because of the luck that is in it, but they'll almost always be towards the top. And that, to me, I think there is a whole lot of luck in fantasy football. But with fantasy baseball, there's just like poker. You're not always gonna win, but you are usually, if you're good at it, going to be towards the
Like,
top. So
if
I
you're-
love
you're
that.
regularly finishing in the bottom fourth year after year after year.
Yeah, it's not luck.
You might be a redneck.
I hate to break it to you.
No, that's great. I love that you did that though. That is awesome. Oh, Zach, go ahead.
Okay, no. So we've never met before. It's a pleasure to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. I watched your I'm trying. Cut this whole part. So I watched the panel you guys did last year for PitchCon, just to get a little bit of background. And you did show up very notably last year wearing a Padres hat.
Yes.
With the caution that you were giving up your Mets fandom or boycotting them or something along those lines until they had new ownership. So they have new ownership, and you're wearing a Mets hat, and you have a Gary Carter jersey in the background there. So I presume you're back on there.
Oh yeah. As soon as the Wilpons were gone. Same thing with the Giants. I'm rooting for the Giants players, but until Dave Gettleman's gone, screw the Giants as a team. That's just like, hey, look, it worked with the Mets. Unfortunately, this offseason, as we've seen, nothing's really changed on the Mets when it comes to free agents. They still get used and then signed elsewhere. Hey, drive up my price. See you later. I mean, I tweeted it with the Justin Turner rumor came out, and I said, signing with the Dodgers for 2 years and less money. Watch. And then what happened? A week and a half later, Justin Turner, 2 years, less money with the Dodgers. So look, I even joked about that earlier today. I said they just got freaking sniped by the cost-cutting Athletics on Trevor Rosenthal. Like the Mets still really haven't changed with Cohen, but at least, maybe it's not this year. They got the Lindor trade, but going forward, he'll be able to actually spend some of that money next year. But I'm back in mostly is because of the Wilpons. Don't be a big market team acting like the Athletics. That was my biggest problem. And that's all it was. And, to be the real part of it, Joe Pisapia and I had this discussion. If it was eerily similar to the Dodgers, but if it wasn't for the fact that Wilpon was so tight with the commissioner, they would have been kicked out just like what happened with the Dodgers years ago.
I was about to say, he made Frank McCourt sell. There's no way.
They should have been forced to sell a long time ago.
So now that we've got 12 minutes left, so I want to real quickly get to I know. It's crazy. Time's fun when you're having flies. So I want to get to this section that we call Playing Pepper, which is kind of like, think of it as like a lightning round, but don't feel pressured to answer super quickly. But there are a couple questions. Yes, no, they're all yes or no's. You will be graded on your response. No,
and if you haven't gathered, we're really, really strict with keeping you.
We're very strict about all
Cerulean blue.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to ask, favorite ballpark that you've ever been to?
Boston, Fenway, definitely.
I've never been. Always wanted to go.
It was everything you would expect from it. I also sat right by Pesky Pole, and the coolest thing about it was the fact that I just thought the fans kept singing "Sweet Caroline" even after the inning started. That was also really cool. And it's just being in Boston. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to a lot of stadiums. I've been both to the Yankees, both of the Mets, both of the Braves. I've been to a lot, but it was Fenway.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
want to see baseball. Ooh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to see the Giants one at some point.
I've heard.
I was there last
summer.
summer.
AT&T?
I think
Oracle. I think
Oracle. That's right. It's Oracle.
Yeah, they changed it. Yeah, PNC was really cool too. But
I've heard that's great.
Oh no, I've heard PNC is one I've never been to, and that's what at the top of everyone's list. No, I was at Oracle last summer. It's a great ballpark. Even high up, they've got tons of really interesting food options, which is kind of what I always gravitate towards as far as how unique a ballpark is going to be without or outside of the aesthetics.
Yeah, PNC had a pierogi hamburger,
yeah,
and I got that. I was I had to get that.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Normal one. I don't know.
So there's different kinds of pierogies. I feel it makes it if you have onions, it's different than a cheese pierogi. It makes a big difference for the burger. I feel like.
I don't know. It was a regular pierogi. I didn't know there was difference. And I'm half Polish.
You know what? Confession: I have no clue what a pierogi is. So we can. I'll Google it later. It sounds good. Maybe
it's a different conversation we gotta have.
Yeah. Tell me about a time in which you laughed really, really hard.
I laughed really, really hard.
Really hard. I mean, and and I want to preface this by saying it may not be a good story. Maybe somebody fell down or farted, and that's fine. But yeah, just a time when you just were dying laughing.
I know exactly what it was. I was doing a podcast with Joe Pizzappi and Benny Ricciardi, and I had zero sleep. I mean, like legitimately 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep in 36 hours. And we're doing a podcast. And we're doing a podcast. It's football. And we're talking about some players. I'm leading it. And somebody asked something. And then I said, well, with Evan Ingram. And they both looked at me. And this was because we were live in person. And they both looked at me like, what are you talking about? And I was like, we're talking about Evan Ingram. He's like, nobody's talking about Evan Ingram. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, the question was about whoever it was. So we start talking about him again, and my brain is just wasted at this point. And so we're in the middle of talking about the person we were supposed to be talking about. See, I don't even remember who it was. And then I said, I just don't like Evan Ingram. And they're like, we're not talking about Evan Ingram. And I just started losing it, tears coming down my eyes. And so they were calling it like, I've never been alcohol drunk because I don't really like the taste of alcohol. And it gives me headaches. But they called me. That was the one time they said that's drunk Jake. That was because that's what drunk Jake would have been like.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. You just really wanted to talk about
Evan Ingram.
Just really had it in for Evan. You know what? Like, look, I got an opinion on Evan Ingram. And you're going to hear it.
We're talking about
whether you like it or not. Yeah, exactly. That is. Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay. Let's do a couple more of these, Zach. Yeah, give me one.
Yeah, so we've gotten shot down twice on this question, like 2 immediate no's, like really lame. So I'm hoping you can be a little more help here. Have you ever seen a ghost, or just not even a ghost, something that like you can't explain, something made you
weird
go,
that happened? Yeah,
I would say so. Well, so I'm not going to say no. So on the one hand, like I don't believe in ghosts, but I had still had the freak out where. And I'll tell you why. This is what it comes back to. It was after seeing Scream in the theaters. And now I was younger than I should have been to see Scream, if you like kind of do the math there. But
yeah, I was gonna say that was a while ago, and you're not that old.
No. Came home and started turning lights on, closing all the shades, and went into my bedroom. And it was one of those, I swear to God, there was like a shadow in the corner that wasn't supposed to be there, and it was one of those heart in your throat, like it definitely cold sweat, full on. Scream freaked me out. I'll admit, Scream freaked me out. Although the funny thing is I called one of the killers in that movie, but anyway, still freaked me out. Again, I was too young to probably be watching it, but I have had the I thought I saw something in my room feeling 100%.
We all been there.
That's great. Well, hey, look, I'm glad that was a good story, because the last 2 times we asked, we're both no,
zero.
Next question.
I don't believe
I hang out with Slender Man on the weekend. Shut up.
All right, last one before we get to the full count, the recommendations. When you brush your teeth, toothpaste or water first?
Water, toothpaste, water.
That is the way to do it. Thank you.
And I also
that is the correct
first time
answer.
We've gotten a fully correct answer, I think.
Yes.
Too, yeah.
I also do very warm water to soften the bristles even a little bit extra. I wait for the water to warm up.
It's a little off, but that's fine. That's fine.
I thought you were going to ask me where I start, because that's a question too.
Oh, where do you start? I never thought about that.
That's the thing is, so FF Hitman, Mike Wright tweeted this out, is actually most right-handers start up left and most left-handers start up right.
I never thought about that.
You usually start opposite of where and come around. And I thought about it before, is I actually start with the upper left.
That's wild. I never really thought about that. That's crazy. We might have
you're gonna think about it.
Yeah. Next time I brush my teeth, I'm going to think about it. Actually, real quick, one last one, because this should be a quick one. When you are getting dressed, pants or socks first?
Socks.
Socks first?
Whoa. Wow. We're full of plot twists today.
Wow.
Well, because here's the thing, especially, look, I wear jeans 99% of the time. Actually, right. Chris Harris, if anybody knows, had one of his listeners did a song podcasting in blue jeans, because I don't I go to bed, I get out of my jeans, but 99% of the time, always jeans. It just, when you put your socks on before your jeans, I wear the calves right here is where it is. You have to pull your jeans up to get the socks on. So why not just put the socks on first?
what if you like when you shower, like your feet are the last part to dry because it's all going down. Like you just put your socks on straight out.
Well, I mean, I guess he's putting socks on if he's leaving.
I dry my I actually have socks on 99% of the time too, unless I'm going to the beach.
Okay.
If I'm going to the beach or in the middle of summer in sandals or something like that, sure. But no, like I dry like a normal person. I dry my entire body. I don't stop at my knees. I get to my knees and be like,
it's still like damp though. Maybe it's just me. My feet are still damp. I don't like putting on socks until after the. I'm not the weird one here. You're the first person to answer the socks.
I love that you said that, because when we asked that to Alex Fast, Alex was like, "People do socks first?" Like he was like incred, like what? And we're like, that's like. That's crazy. That's so funny. Oh my god. Okay, we got 4 minutes, so I'm going to do the full count, which is I'm going to ask for.
We got 2 minutes. Let's go.
2 minutes. Is my clock off? Okay. Well, we're going to do this quick.
Suck it, Nick.
Right. I'm going to ask for a recommendation in each of 5 categories. Now we did this last year, and I want to do it again. So
did I have everything?
So yeah, you did. So that's fine. First category is going to be books. And I will say last year you recommended a comic book, so comics are fine too.
I was going to say, because I don't read books. Because I don't, like you said, I don't want to read anything. I write all the time.
I got you.
I'm only reading one. Was it the Omnibus? Because I still never finished it.
No, you recommended the Tower of Babel storyline.
Oh, yes.
League, which is fantastic.
Yes, by the way. No, now I'm in the middle of reading the... Taylor's in the way. Sorry. It's what is it? It's X-Men Omnibus, and I forget what the actual thing. It's like this thick. It's unbelievably thick. So
yeah,
that's what
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've never read it, but I have.
Put it this way: if anyone wants to buy it for me when I'm done, because I'm not just giving this damn thing away. This is expensive,
dude. That's like reading Nightfall, the Batman thing. Like Nightfall's like it's an encyclopedia.
There's one.
It's ridiculous.
The Batman. I'll say the Killing Joke was really good.
Oh my god, that's my favorite. That's my favorite comic of all time.
We've discussed
Killing
that one
blew me
for
away.
sure.
It's a good one.
There you
go. Food recommendation. Can be like a restaurant, can be an actual food, like literally
something I just recently found. And I don't know if this is everywhere, so I'm sorry if it's not near you, but if anybody's had Five Guys and does like Five Guys,
so good.
Not Five Guys, Mooyah Burger one-ups it. Mooyah Burger, more options, sweet potato fries, and it's less expensive for the same quality.
Okay.
I think sweet potato fries are an abomination of French fry. I hate sweet potato fries.
That's a game. We're gonna have to have about that. But...
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. Okay. But I'm always here for a good burger. So I love that. And you tricked me on Five Guys. I thought you were going to say Five Guys.
Well, that's because it costs $40 to get Five Guys now.
That's true.
I was looking at them on Uber Eats all of 90 minutes ago. It's like awful.
Movies or TV?
TV. Ted Lasso. Done.
Okay. I have heard really good things about that.
Same.
I need to watch it. Everyone keeps recommending it.
100% Ted Lasso.
All right, we got 2 more.
2 more. Music.
I have the same music I've had since high school, and I just continually update on my phone. I don't listen. Here, hold on. I'll pull something up because I just recently got the Spotify trial. Let's see what I was listening to recently that I love.
Oh, you just joined 2010?
No, pretty much. How do I even go to my likes? Oh, your library, like songs. Here you go. Ask me the next question while I'm looking this up.
All right. Well, the last one might take a little bit of thinking, but the last category is miscellaneous. Anything from your life, an activity, a gadget, anything from your life that you would recommend to other people. I usually tell people it's the first thing that pops in your head.
Hold on.
I was going to say that one takes a little more thinking.
It does take a little bit more thinking. All these are like Blink-182 is like all the stuff that I used to listen to. My Chemical Romance, Royal Blood. Actually, Royal Blood. There's a lot of people don't know Royal Blood.
They're great. Yeah, they're really good.
So that's
a real good choice.
So for the
miscellaneous,
miscellaneous technology that people need to have.
I mean, anything. It can be a gadget. It can be tech. It can be an activity. I had someone say skydiving, taking a bath.
I actually want to skydive for my bachelor party. That's on my bucket list. So everybody out there, I do it if you haven't done it. And you know what? I'm gonna brag. Everybody out there, go get a PS5 or Xbox Series X. I have both. Haha, in your face.
You have both? Oh.
Let's speed it up, guys.
Yeah. Okay. That was the last one.
I gave you an opportunity to close out the podcast normal.
That was the last one. Well, all right. So I will close it now. Xbox and PS5 was the miscellaneous recommendation. Jake,
go get some Funkos.
Yeah. Oh, the Funkos. We didn't even get to talk about that, but that's another day. Thank you, Jake, so much for being on the podcast. Nick just popped in and out. Thank you so much for being here. You are a joy of a human being, and it is just wonderful. I am so happy.
Follow me on Twitter.
No, I do, and I love it. So everyone, go follow Jake on Twitter. He's wonderful, and he's a wonderful person. So thank you so much for being here on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Too kind, and I appreciate Nick.
Yes,
All
Nick's
right.
wonderful too. Hey, Nick.
What a wonderful end to a podcast episode.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
First of all, you said you hang out with Slender Man on the weekends. Are you saying that you hang out with Spore? Is that what you're saying there, Jake?
Spore is absolutely Slender Man.
I've actually roomed in a hotel with Spore, so yes.
Yeah, there you go. I would love to see Spore dress up as Slender Man once for Halloween.
That would be amazing.
I would be very, very excited.
We just decided
he's doing a presentation tomorrow, and it's
go.
called Spore is doing a presentation. So
I love
can't wait for that. But that's Shagging Flies. It's an awesome podcast. This was a ton of fun. I know really it wasn't baseball stuff, but who really cares? All of y'all are dope, and that's what matters for PitchCon. Jake, thanks for joining us for this.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Both years are like, I don't really want to talk about baseball. I was like, okay, I'll find something for you. Don't worry. I got you. Unfortunately, Ben's been on the same way, and now we also have Zach doing the same thing too. So really, this was fantastic. Thanks to guys for being a part of PitchCon, and yeah, y'all are dope.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Take care, guys.